So the Indianapolis Colts have one of the most deadly defensive lines that any NFL team has to offer. And that is because of the pure depth, the pure speed, and the strength, and how versatile all these guys are on the defensive line. You look at Buckner. He could play on the outside. He could play on the inside. He could play one tech. He could play three tech. He could play edge. Stewart's a little bit of a story. Stewart's mainly a one tech guy, but he is the best one tech in the league. One of the best, if not the best. And then you have Thankyou, who is lightning quick. He's kind of a tweener. Plays edge, middle. Tyquan Lewis, edge, middle. Dengbo, edge, middle. Samson Ebukam, and Kwity Paye mainly stay on the outside. Laiatu Latu is probably going to stay on the inside. Is probably going to stay on the outside, but he could definitely go on the inside a little bit. This Colts defensive line is very hard to predict. Makes it very difficult to watch. It doesn't make it difficult to watch film, but it makes it more difficult to spot tendencies when you have so many different options on the table. That makes it more difficult to watch film. That makes the defensive line much less predictable. And when you have all those different guys in different spots, it confuses the offensive line. It's just a lot of moving parts. And it also tires them out because you have all those guys that can come in, that can give the other guys a break, and they still play at a very high level. It's very difficult for the opposing team's offensive line to keep up. And this is only going to make our offensive line better too. This is something that a lot of people don't talk about. When you have a really good unit on offensive defense, it typically makes the opposite unit much better on the other team. On your team, but on the opposite side of the ball, You have the amazing defensive line, all that depth. That's only going to help condition our offensive line better. That's only going to help our offensive line get better and better. So it's going to protect Anthony Richardson better. Give Anthony Richardson more time because Anthony Richardson is probably going to need as much time as he needs, as he can get. I hate to say it, but it's probably the truth. We'll see when the season comes around. But the Colts defensive line, back to that. Samson Ebukam and Kwity Paye were pretty darn good off the edge last year. Now Kwity Paye is more of a run stuff type of guy, but he's still decent in the pass rush. It's not his cup of tea compared to his run. He's absolutely incredible against the run. I would go as far as to say he is almost elite against the run. Pass rush, he's good. Samson Ebukam, this dude gets pressure like there's no tomorrow. This dude gets pressure all day long. Quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. High motor, never gives up, whether he's getting the sack or not. He plays through the whistle, and you love to see it because even if that whistle's blown and he still hits and not just that quarterback, he's gonna stay in his mind all game long. He's not gonna forget that. Once a quarterback is hit, he's paranoid. Typically. Some of the good quarterbacks you can't shake. But you can shake up majority of them. And you can't shake up anyone at any time. Truly. Some are just very difficult. Much more difficult than others. But Samson Ebukam. And then you have Laiatu Latu coming in from UCLA. Oh my gosh, dude. He is explosive off the edge. I think this is a guy that in a couple of years can be one of the better edge rushers in the league. He absolutely has the tools to be that. Maybe even towards the second half of the year, he could really take that second step, and then before you know it, you have Samson Ebukam. But before you know it, you have 5 very capable defensive linemen, and not even just serviceable. They're all, I would go as far as saying, as they're all great. And then you have solid, if not solid, great depth on top of that. So our defensive line is going to tire offensive lines like there's no tomorrow. Offensive lines are going to be tired by the end of the second quarter, by the beginning of the third quarter. They're going to get tired. It's going to be difficult to run the ball. They're going to be getting pressure all day long, make it difficult on any quarterback. Now, the thing I am worried about the defense, though, is not the defense line, not the front seven. This front seven is one of the nastiest front sevens I've seen. Now, could you imagine if Shaq Leonard was still Shaq Leonard that we knew from when we drafted on top of what we already had? That is a fun thing to think about. Unfortunately, it's a big what if. We're used to what ifs around here in Indianapolis. It's just the way it goes. Just how it's happened for us. But you have Zaire Franklin. You have the Ugunbi guy. I can't remember his name on top of my head. EJ Speed. There are so many guys on this front seven that I think this is the best front seven in the NFL. I don't think there's a better front seven, and that's important because Gus Bradley doesn't like to blitz a lot. And he's done a very good job coaching up this defense line, getting this defense line on the right track. Unfortunately, the back end of the defense is not too good. So when we go ahead and do play a really good offensive line, an awesome offensive line, and they hold up most of the game, better hope that our offense is scoring almost every drive because you look at the back end, it's not too good. I mean, it's not that there's no talent back there. There's no experience. You have no playing time back there. No veterans. I mean, you have Kenny Moore in the slot, but he's in the slot. You have Ronnie Harrison Jr., but he's more of an in-box kind of a guy. He's not, I don't think he's his best up high, in single high. I think he's a good backup to Julian Blackman. I think he's a good A and B. A1 and AB to Julian Blackman, even though Julian Blackman, I think he is an incredible strong safety. It just seems natural to him. But you look at Julius Brents, I don't know about Brents, man. He had a couple of really nice flashes last year, but he was hurt all the time. And, he had a couple of really nice flashes. He really did. But there are a couple of things in his game that are definitely worrisome. And hopefully you get that fixed. He's big. He's a big, lengthy corner. He's got the speed. He's got the ability. He's got the physical attributes to be an awesome cornerback. I don't know if he's going to be though. I just don't have a great feeling about Julius Brents, and it sucks because I see him and he has a lot of potential, and you can see that he does physical attributes, and he's skilled. But there's something about him that just doesn't feel right to me. It just doesn't. I mean, and feelings, they don't matter, man. They don't matter for the most part. The truth is the truth, but sometimes sometimes your gut is telling you something, and that's what I'm kind of getting. I'm kind of getting a bad gut feeling about him. Jalen Jones, don't know about him. Yeah, I mean, he had a couple of nice games last year. I thought Jalen Jones was all right last year, actually. But if the Colts can sign a veteran cornerback or, a veteran safety like Justin Simmons I talked about the other day, Quandre Diggs even, if we get a veteran in the backfield, at least a really stout and talented, brings veteran leadership, brings a lot of experience, a lot of snaps, Justin Simmons, Quandre Diggs, those guys would be awesome for the last line of defense, if anything. But hopefully that defensive line can continue to get home, and that's why, it's awesome to have this defensive line that we do. Now, if the back end was a little bit better, like if it was like 2 or 3 years ago when we had Xavier Rhodes on one side, and then, Rocky Sin wasn't really good. I don't know who stepped in for Rocky Sin, who was actually playing really well. I can't remember who. Pierre Desir. I think it was Pierre Desir. You guys remember Pierre Desir? Those years, bring them now? Oh my gosh, I think this would be, honestly, one of the better defenses in the NFL. Honestly. But with the back end the way it is, it worries me when you play, other teams that have really good head coaches, have really good know how to scheme up a game and, get the ball out quick. Or, if you run to a couple games with really good head coaches, really smart head coaches, and really talented, all of them are smart, but you've run to some are better than others. It's just the truth. But if you run to a quarterback, we run to the shots twice a year. They have some incredible receivers who can get open quick. Nico Collins, Tank Dell. It's a little worrisome because these guys are going to catch the ball quick, get open quick, and then, watching these cornerbacks. Odillis Flowers is another one that we have, but it's so worrisome because these guys weren't good at tackling either. They weren't good at tackling. They weren't good in coverage. I don't know if you guys seen, but there were many times last year where Gus Bradley had the defensive backs so soft on coverage. It's like what are you doing? Kind of, why are you doing it? But that's how inexperienced and how bad the cornerback room was. It was tough. It wasn't good. So I sure hope the guys in the room now find a way to be half decent. We just need them to be half decent, even a little bit below average would get us pretty far. And tackle well. Tackle well. Please. So the defensive line, incredible defensive line. One of the best in the league, if not the best. So it's deadly. Deadly, deadly, deadly. And I'm very excited. This is the best defensive line that we've had since Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis. I would even say, as a collective unit, they're better. This line is deeper. It goes all the way down to Deo, to Taekwon, to Adetomiwa. All these guys have high ceilings. Any of these guys could get you a sack anytime they're on the field. Adetomiwa, the jury's still kind of out. We're still kind of figuring Adetomiwa out. Doesn't have a lot of playing time because of how good the rest of the guys have been, which is not a bad thing, but you still want to see him out there more. And that's a good thing. You know when he is out there that he is earning those reps, or because it's tough. There's a lot of competition on the defensive line. And one last thing I want to note here, a couple of things I want to note here before I get out of here, is that defensive lines and edge rush, defensive line, pass rush wins games. Pass rush finishes off games. You know how we've had a lot of those games where we're up 14 points, we're up 17, we're up even 10, even 7 in the last drive. Let's just go with something simple. 7 in the last drive, you're up 7. Last drive. That pass rush gets 1 sack. It makes it that much more difficult for the opposing offense to pick up the first down and keep the drive going and get themselves a shot to win the game. Pass rush wins games. They finish games. Like, look a couple of years ago when we played the Vikings. I know, I'm sorry to rip that Band-Aid off and put salt on that wound, but it's just the truth. No pass rush. We had no nothing. And that was the year, that was for Jeff Saturday year. I think that was Jeff Saturday year, so Jeff Saturday, Matt Ryan. That was horrible. It was tough making videos that year. It was tough reacting to the games. It was tough watching the games. The games just were not fun to watch. I was like, is this game over yet? By halftime, by the end of the first quarter. But we have a little more excitement now. Even though I don't think Anthony Richardson is the future, it's still exciting that we have someone new and someone different there, I guess. But I think Anthony Richardson is going to be the one to hold us back. I think if we had a quarterback that was half decent, that was pretty good. Not to be great, they were good. I think that this Colts team would make the playoffs. I think they'd have a chance to win a game or two in the playoffs. That's how talented I think this roster is. I think they have a lot of really good spots. Look at the receivers, man. Look at the firepower in offense. I'm just not a fan of Anthony Richardson. I know he's going to make plays on the ground. He's going to be an awesome playmaker on the ground. But if he's going to be able to make that throw, he really needs to make that one throw. That one throw could be the difference between winning and losing. That one throw can be the difference between making the playoffs and not. That one throw can turn to 2 or 3 or 4 games. And before we know it, we're 6-11. And we miss the playoffs. And we're having the same conversation we did at the end of last. Well, no, different conversation now, but you get what I'm trying to say. Are we going to be disappointed? Are our expectations going to be shattered? Are they going to, perform better than our expectations? It always seems like that's how it happens with the Colts. It seems like when we're getting hyped up for a year, a lot of hype. But it seems like when we think Colts aren't going to do much, they're nothing special. That's when the Colts play their best football, man. It's just the Colts. It's just tradition. It's just how it works. But yeah, I'm super excited for this defensive line. Colts haven't had a defensive line like this in a long time, maybe ever. is there's just so much talent on paper up and down the board. On paper, this is probably the best defensive line in the NFL. Or, yeah, it's close. If not the best. And then probably for the history for the Colts, maybe. I don't know the history too much before Mathis and Freeney. So don't quote me on that. I mean, but I'm excited. I'm excited to have a defense line, guys that can get after the quarterback, get a couple fumbles, get a lot of sacks. It would be awesome if we could break the sack record. Do you guys think the Colts can break the sack record in 2024? If not, how many sacks do you think the Colts will get in 2024? I'd like to hear your thoughts on the comments, down in the comment section on the Colts defensive line. Anything you want, anything, but man, I'm telling you, the defense line, awesome. They're going to do the job this year. Back end, let's hope. Fingers crossed. Anthony Richardson, fingers crossed. If those things work out, Colts can find themselves in the playoffs and win a game or two. That's it. Very talented roster. Lots of talent. Lots of playmakers all over the place. And a really good head coach that knows how to use it all. Very important. Holds players responsible. Has a strong culture. Puts a fire under their asses. That's good. Need a head coach like that. Need a head coach that's not scared to speak up and yell. Frank Reich was never that. We need a guy like Shane Steichen badly. So, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning into the JDW Sports Talk Show. Where fans welcome. I'm so happy to be back, man. I missed it. I missed it so much. I'm so happy to be back. This is JDW Sports Talk Show. Signing off. I'll catch y'all guys later.